right. Hey, welcome to the Talkies, everybody.
Hey.
Oh, look at that.
And you cut out instantly.
Fail.
I'm here.
Oh, there you
I'm just invisible.
Wow. Oh, I get it.
All right.
I
Yeah.
don't get it.
So we're this is the Talkies. We're talking about Invisible Man from Blumhouse today.
Yep. Special guest.
As you may have noticed, our screen is quartered instead of thirded.
Yeah.
Because we have a special guest joining the Talkies, Cameron.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, dude.
It's me. It's
Hello,
Cameron.
Cameron
Hello,
in the
Cameron.
house.
Who are you?
Wait.
I'm Cameron.
How'd you
Cameron
get here?
J. Caves. I'm a local filmmaker in the Sacramento area. I've worked with all these guys on films before as a crew member or as a director. Taylor's shot some stuff with me for a while. So yeah, that's
Old
pretty
friends.
much where you guys know me from.
Hey, Cameron, could you briefly describe your film philosophy?
Briefly.
Yep.
My film philosophy in terms of what? In terms of
What would you say
What's your
makes
style?
your lens through which you like to interpret and understand movies? How would you describe it as different from other people? What do you value in a movie? What do you like, dislike, that kind of thing?
I like, for me, the visuals are the most kind of important part of a movie, because I know a lot of people, a lot of directors, and a lot of writers, screenwriters really like dialogue. I'm not really so much about dialogue. I can't remember dialogue from 90% of movies the minute I walk out the door. For me, it's all about the visuals, and I think the best films are the films where I just say to somebody else who hasn't seen the movie, I say, me explaining it to you isn't going to do anything. You have to see it because it's a visual movie.
That's great.
Just watch it.
This is my guy right here.
Yep.
Visuals.
You're in Team D.
Yeah.
You'll quickly see that this show is defined by us hating each other.
Oh, I see.
We're all so.
That's
yeah.
actually why you guys are doing it on Zoom, right? Not because of the quarantine. You're just
Right.
we can't see
Yeah,
you.
it gets dangerous.
What quarantine?
Exactly. Oh, what?
Yeah, we're actually all in the same house.
Man,
We're
you
just
should watch the news.
Yeah. Okay. So this week we watched and are talking about The Invisible Man, latest offering from Blumhouse and Universal.
Yes, the one that came out
Yes.
more recently, not the one that
not
came
the
out
old one.
60 years
right.
ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Not the
Although
2020
that would be a
version.
fun one to cover too, actually.
That would be.
There's some references.
Some interesting trivia. This was slated to be a part of Universal's Dark Universe
Oh,
collection.
weird.
A while ago, they had this big plan, and they'd put aside budget for all these movies. They were going to make a universe of classic monster movies, including The Mummy and The Wolfman, and
Mummy was the first one.
The Mummy was a big bomb.
Giant flop.
And they kind of dropped the whole idea of a universe, but they kept the green-lighted movies going. They turned into something different.
You know what? I have a theory kind of related to that.
Yeah?
I think Lee Winnell, who is the director of this film, I think he wants to make a Marvel movie or a DC movie because so him and James Wan worked together a lot. They together made the first 3 Saw movies.
Yes.
Yeah, he starred
and
Saw.
If you've ever seen Saw 1, he's the other guy, not the main lead, but the other guy who's locked in the bathroom. And then 3 years ago, maybe, Lee Winnell wrote and directed Upgrade, which was kind of like a superhero movie.
Covered on
And
Talkies.
he wrote and directed this film, The Invisible Man. And James Wan also has gone on to direct films in Fast and Furious series, and he directed Aquaman. So I
James
think that
Wan
Lee
was the next
Winnell is
Spielberg.
trying to ease himself into that. That's my theory. Anyways, baseless.
You're probably right.
speculative.
I just watched an interview where he said that after doing Upgrade, he said he got an action bug in him, so he just kind of wanted to do more action-y stuff.
Yeah, that's
Upgrade.
definitely in The Invisible Man. There's some stuff that's definitely action sequences.
Yeah.
I
Not as action-y
didn't.
as,
I hadn't even read who the director was or looked it up or anything before watching this movie, which is rare for me. I usually go overboard on contextualizing a movie before I watch it, but I didn't this time. So I didn't realize who had directed it. And the first third of the movie, I just kept saying, "This is so Upgrade." I feel the same
really?
vibe as Upgrade. Throughout it, I could feel the same vibe,
That's
and so
funny. I never even thought about
I
that.
felt very validated when I found out it was the same guy.
So
I had a similar experience.
he's only directed 3 movies. He's written a bunch of movies, most
Yeah.
of James Wan's movies, but he directed Insidious 3, Upgrade, and The Invisible Man, and that's it.
Well, why don't we start off with hot takes, and then we'll get into the part where we fight.
Talk about the
Killer
movie.
part.
Get into the
We'll fight about
fighting
the
part.
movie. Yeah.
So let's take you. How about you go?
Yeah, you.
No, you.
You don't know who you're pointing at.
That one. Taylor.
Oh yeah, me. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I was pretty good. I kind of liked it. I thought it was pretty good. It was. I kind of went in expecting it to be so, or I felt like I was skeptical of it going in.
Yes, same here.
Yeah, and the execution of it was actually, I thought, quite good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't think it didn't blow me away too much or anything, but I'd see another movie by this guy just to see what he does. I liked that it didn't go supernatural at all. I liked that it stayed in the sci-fi stuff, and actually some of it kind of creeped me out a little bit too. Boom.
Good hot take.
Thank you.
D.
Oh, get ready. I thought it was not very good. I didn't like it very much. I saw a lot of the screenwriting being presented, and I had to tear myself away. I didn't enjoy too much of it. I thought there was some pretty creative stuff in there, but as a whole, it didn't really get me, and I kind of lost track of it later. I started forgetting what it was about, and yeah, didn't impress me too much.
Cameron, hot take.
Oh man, I have to hot take.
Yep.
Okay, there was one. This is kind of a nitpick, but one thing that was really weird and kind of distracting to me was that all of the color palettes were really either monochrome or just neutral. So at the beginning of the film, when she's in the house, everything is either black or white or gray, in the big mansion. And then she moves somewhere else, and everything is gray or tan or gold, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that was just throughout the movie. That was kind of, and I was like, is this an homage because the first movie was in black and white, that everything is gray in the background?
I think it was actually.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the only hot take that I can think of right now.
But
Did you like the movie?
For the record, you were a fan of the movie.
I did like the movie. Yeah. I did like the movie. Yeah, I had there's a couple things that thinking about it later, I was like, this doesn't quite. I'm not sure I like this part, but yeah.
Alrighty. And as for mine, overall, I did not really like this movie very much. Although I feel like this is definitely evidence of a competent director, and is a strong offering for Blumhouse, if we contextualize it that way.
That's interesting.
But I did not care for the writing, and the ending made me hate the whole movie. And I'll dig deeper into that in a bit.
Yeah, my biggest issues with the movie were more performance stuff, and I think I didn't love the style of the movie too much. Yeah, it felt kind of, I don't know, the camera just kind of floats around. And
I think that was kind of the point, though. It's he could be anywhere, right? That was kind of intentional what they were trying to do.
I liked the floating tracking shots of the Invisible Man, where it's just a hallway, and we're just following a hallway.
Yeah.
That stuff was cool. But then there were some really elaborate shots that I felt didn't need to be so elaborate, or just a little overkill. There's this one scene where I think the camera locks onto somebody as they fall over in the hallway. Shots
Oh yeah.
Oh, and they did a snorri cam.
Kinda, yeah. I was like,
was like, hey, remember we did that in Upgrade? Let's do it again.
What about the random cutaways to security cameras? Did those feel like why?
I think they were just trying. It was there to show like she's being watched or like a voyeuristic kind of thing.
But well, the guy, her husband Adrian, he's like a tech billionaire, right? Like later when she's reading, it's like here's an article that he died. It says tech billionaire, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I think it was kind of supposed to show that he could be watching, like he has access to his data or something like that. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Is that he's somebody like a Mark Zuckerberg or something?
So that's him watching the footage, maybe.
So the thing that drove me the most crazy was not getting enough of who her husband was, of developing that character, which you didn't really have to for 90% of the movie, but for the end to matter and make sense, I felt like they really did need to, because they had like this first twist thing where they're like, oh, it's the brother in the Invisible Man costume. And I thought, oh, that's actually an interesting twist. I didn't quite see that coming. Maybe the brother was actually behind this whole thing. But then that ending that's tagged on the end where she's like, no, it was Adrian and I'm going to go there and kill him. That was the first time we actually met Adrian. And from all the information we get from him, it's just as likely that she's insane as she is right.
No, like that's like, I think that if we had more information from him, that the movie would be completely ruined. It wouldn't have worked at all. Because the entire purpose of the movie and the entire purpose of everyone around her is she's questioning him. There is that she's like, he's done all this stuff to me, like he's abusive, blah, blah, blah. And all of the people in her life are kind of, second guessing her.
Yeah.
If we as the audience had all the information like that she had, like if, for example, there was a scene at the beginning that showed explicitly him abusing her, then the movie would have completely fallen flat. It wouldn't have worked at all.
I think you're right. Save the ending. Just leave off that part where she kills him. Just have it end with the fact that the brother was the one sort of manipulating things, pulling the strings. I thought we had a nice tie-up to the end. But that whole dinner scene at the end just made me feel like, okay, maybe she is crazy. Like, I have no evidence to suggest that he is this guy. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing at all. Just her word.
I had the same view as Kenny, where the husband being there and being so just saying, I'm telling the truth and everything, you're starting to question yourself and you're wondering, okay, well, was she lying the whole time or was she?
It raised new questions we didn't need at that part of the movie.
Well, I kind of liked the idea that they introduced at least a little bit of those questions, except when they started trying to answer them with her killing him, with her carrying out the invisible suit, with the cop then meeting her, and it's like wrapping up all these things that I don't think needed to be wrapped up.
Yeah, it got a little convoluted.
Yeah, there was this thing Taylor and I had watched called Undone, where it's a show that tackles the psychological thriller vibe, and throughout the whole show, it's doing the same thing. It's setting up questions, but what's really neat about that show is that it sticks to her perspective only, and there's never a definitive answer that you're given. And I feel like this movie tried to give definitive answers both ways. That like, she is insane. No, she's not. Yes, she is. And I felt like those script pieces just coming out.
No, you got to decide what you believe for yourself. I decided that it was all that she was right. Boom. And
when did you get the impression that she was insane? Because I didn't get that.
I really liked that part when I felt like she was insane. I really started
the first chunk of it. Yeah.
The first chunk I think was, I think actually when she was in the room. What was it? The room when she's across the table from her lawyer and the cop, where she's trying to explain that he's in the room right now and she doesn't want to say something because he might hear it. It was at that point where she's saying the typical crazy person stuff. He's listening. She keeps using that, cliche kind of lines. He's listening. He's here. You can't see him. And I feel like the screenwriter knew that these were cliches, and so they just put him in there. But now they have a new context because the guy's actually invisible. So it's interesting. But I think at the same time they're trying to, hint that she could be crazy, but maybe not, and they
I don't
just
think
keep
they were
trying to
doing
push
that at all. I think they were trying to show light on how abuse victims are often ignored, and about how that is, in real life, that's how that happens. And I think that him being invisible is like just another layer to that. I don't think they were trying to be like, oh, maybe she's insane, like, because they show enough to where, even just having shown the clip where she leaves the room, she leaves the kitchen, and you guys know the shot I'm talking about, where the camera's on the kitchen.
Yeah, the knife and the flame. Yeah,
and the flame starts and stuff like that. Like you've seen that, so you know that there's somebody there, right? Like as an audience member, you know that somebody's there. So I think you're supposed to feel frustrated at the situation. You're supposed to feel frustrated that she's talking to these people and they're not listening to her.
Yeah. I think more beyond that.
I think they played with that idea of, is she crazy? Is she not crazy? For the first 40 minutes. And then I think they answer it pretty deliberately with, there's so much evidence.
That's really funny if you say that, because I never once thought they were playing with that at all through the beginning. The first, again, 80-90% of the movie, I was 100% in. She's being stalked by an invisible man. But it was that closing scene where she shows up and has dinner with the guy, and it's like, I need you to confess with this. And we had just seen a scene that it was the brother in the suit, right? And then it follows up saying, no, I know it was you. And I'm like, where is this going? Is she obsessed with the idea that her abuser had to be the one doing it? Because we don't know if he was the one doing it. It could have been the brother. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Where are we going with this? And then she just kills him before I got any evidence that he did or didn't.
So the last thing I heard you say, Kenny, was you didn't get any evidence that Adrian is the guy, right? Because it shows his brother and shows Adrian. But they did. They did that exact thing you're talking about when he says surprise. Like that was that exact moment that you're discussing.
What do you mean? Well, why couldn't that have been his brother?
Because he said it earlier when he was the invisible man and he was alone with her.
I also want to add that the subtitle says Adrian.
Well, the subtitles are not part of the script as far as I'm concerned. But my point is
also, if the movie had ended that way you're talking about, then it would add to the undercurrent of basically the movie would be saying that by that ending that that a victim like this shouldn't be taken seriously, right? That would be the message of the movie.
Well, my point is that I wanted to take her seriously as a victim, but also never saw the things. I think it's the whole problem would have been solved if we had one scene at the beginning where we actually saw that she was married to a maniac who abused her. That's all. And him chasing her down and punching the window. I know that was close, but not enough for me.
I think it was enough. So maybe that's sort of different.
Yeah, it's a taste thing. I'm not a visual guy as you and D are. For me, it's writing and exposition that matters. Context, character development is much bigger for me. And so if I could have anchored down into the fact that she was in fact married to this psychopath that I was afraid of, it would have maybe worked more.
I think I would agree still with you, Kenny, even though I'm a visual person, that because the character wasn't introduced at all. But even so, I don't agree though that the theme itself was messy at all. I think the theme was pretty clear. I think the whole movie was actually pretty clear, and I think I'm kind of surprised actually, Taylor, that you liked this movie, because it was I felt like it was super clear about what it was trying to be and what it was. And I know that you like movies that are more suggestive as opposed to descriptive about what they are.
I just enjoyed the unraveling of a mystery.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was amazing or anything, but I had a pretty fun time seeing how it all unfolded. And I liked the idea that it was a real threat and wasn't supernatural, I could latch onto that a little more.
So it was like kind of like that. It wasn't being cliche. Is what you like?
Yeah.
I love the design of the suit. I thought it was rad.
Yeah, this movie reminds me a lot of Upgrade, just in the way that it delivers its theme. I think with most Blumhouse movies this is true, but I haven't seen a whole bunch, so I'm not sure. But it feels like the writing is so.
You ever seen Whiplash?
Okay, see, Whiplash is dope though, so that's interesting that you bring that up. This is an interesting comparison then. So Whiplash is a super. I feel like it's a very deep movie, even though it's pretty surface level at the things that it tries to say. The things that Whiplash has is themes being like am I the bad guy when I'm the person who's trying to, rise to the top, what the kid was trying to do. The themes that they were trying to say were very, very clear, but I felt like I connect with him as a character, and it's very easy for me to see beyond that. And with a movie like this, The Invisible Man, the girl in here had a clear victim theme going on. There was clearly a theme going on about people who are crazy could be victims,
gaslighting.
And all that. Yeah, and but it seemed to stick with surface level, and I don't know if it's just because it's not my taste in movies and I can't connect with her as a person, but this movie didn't go beyond simply stating the theme and simply showing me how the theme was going to play out.
Yeah.
And this is why I bring up Undone and Upgrade, because Upgrade was a movie that also stayed on the surface level, that didn't explore anything within these characters, and Undone explored endlessly deep with their characters, and so I bring those up because they're
I think to your point, I think The Invisible Man is a movie that's more interested in its plot. It's 2 hours of plot than it is going like really getting pondering deeper themes. Like there are themes and it suggests like obviously there's heavy like dark stuff being suggested and all that, but it's just kind of there. It's kind of serves as like a background, I felt like, more than a foreground element or something to be explored, and it's more of
how I felt too.
A background to a fun thriller plot.
So, and I led with talking about the writing because I had the most to say about it. But honestly, my biggest overarching complaint was just that it felt basic and dull. I just never felt like it was that exciting of a movie.
I was riveted. I was biting my fingernails. I was jumping up and down for joy. I was pissing my pants. It was amazing.
Yeah, you know what you can do, Taylor?
Sobbing.
Yeah, I was sobbing.
What can Taylor do? Can he?
He knows what he can do. He knows.
Okay, I will go fuck myself.
What the? That is not what I was going to say. Oh my gosh!
I was gonna do it regardless. It's okay.
This is a PG show.
I'm sorry. All ages.
Hey, why was this movie rated R?
There's a lot of blood in it.
Yeah, probably the 10-minute
gore.
long action scene in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, and I think it had like 4 F words, so they have. Yeah. There's an arbitrary like number of F word rule that makes you
2 or something.
Yeah,
and the context the F word is used.
So, you said your biggest problem was the writing. What are some things about the writing that you didn't like? There's a couple things that I didn't like, but I'm curious what.
Well, I'm assuming you is me.
Yeah, because you. Yeah.
Yeah, you is me. So I didn't like the lack of character development in the first act of the movie. I connect to people. I connect to a character. I build empathy with the character, but I have to be given something to latch onto. And I think the writing in this is just trying to take advantage of the fact that most people understand what abuse means. Most people understand what what victimhood means, and so they just say these things, just say that these things happen, and now you can connect to the character. I wanted more from her.
Detail.
I wanted more of her, who she was. Where I kind of felt like we started in the middle of a story instead of at the beginning. But like I said before, I wanted more of him too.
Can I bring up something?
Yeah.
Real quick? Not to cut both of you guys off, but
But you did.
But okay, to cut both of you guys.
Thank
off.
you. Thank you.
Kenny, I wanted to ask you if Ghost Story had enough character development for you in the first 10 minutes compared to this story.
Actually, I'd say Ghost Story did. Ghost Story did. And interestingly enough, they did it almost all visually.
This is my point. That's why I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have to be through dialogue, right? But the development still happened, right? And the character development we got of the main character was that she was scared, she was abused, and she was paranoid, but nothing more. You know, it felt very one-dimensional. Mm-hmm. So that plus, I just kind of felt the whole story was just pretty generic, just sort of by the numbers.
They did that with a couple things. So later in the film, she goes to a job interview, and it's revealed that she's an architect.
Right.
They could have shown that earlier somehow. Maybe even since they lived in like this big, complicated mansion, it could have implied that maybe she built that or something.
Right.
But they do the same thing with her friend, who the single father who she lives with. Yeah. In that he's a police officer, but they don't say that until pretty late in the movie. Like they could have shown him in uniform walking out the door like, I'm on the way to my job or something.
Yeah, I kept wondering, it's like, how do these characters know each other?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
And then another small thing is, like you mentioned earlier, all the security camera footage. And then we see her looking in the security cameras, the main character looking in the security cameras right as she leaves at the very beginning of the movie. But then the scene in the restaurant where her sister dies in front of her, they could have had like, I kept thinking, oh, are they going to show the cameras? Like, is that going to be important? And then since there's an implication that maybe he's looking or he's controlling it somehow, maybe there could have been like a line that said like, oh, our cameras got corrupted or something like that. But then that didn't happen. So I would have.
Yeah. Let me say this. I feel like it is a tight and proficient screenplay. Like in the end, there's no holes. It makes sense. It works as a screenplay. And same with the directing. Like I feel like the dude did his job and did it well.
And the cinematography.
Yeah. But again, it was all.
But you can kind of feel that it's not like there's not like a master at work.
Not and not a big like a unified vision either. But that's kind of Blumhouse. That's kind of that's just sort of a Blumhouse trait. Is
feels
that
like a Blumhouse
they're
movie.
A factory that prints movies, right? And sometimes they print one that's a cut above the rest. Occasionally, they have one that's genuinely exciting and good. I'd put this in the category of just being better than most of their work. Mm-hmm. It stands out for actually succeed. And I hate to do the, I hate saying anything's good under certain criteria,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
you can make anything sound good under.
Yeah. Hey, I've gone invisible again. There I am.
Welcome back.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Surprise.
That happens if, by the way, that's because I'm using a DSLR to shoot as my webcam.
You should have just said that you just have an immaculate lighting setup. That's all.
I have one, but I don't know how to set it up. And I have the connector, but I don't know how to do it. So. Oh,
man. That's why I look prettier than all you guys.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. Oh, and genetics.
Right.
Genetics. Yeah. Anyway.
Did anyone else think it was funny in this movie that like slitting throats was the go-to way
that was the thing.
For murder?
Again, it's like
I thought that was pretty funny.
That just made me laugh. I was like,
very cliche.
When her sister died, that's what I did. I was like, they got the throat again.
It's also too.
It became like a revenge movie at the end. That's what felt kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
It tried very hard to make winks and homages and to Invisible Mans of yore. I don't know if you picked up on that,
There's
but
the bandage guy and the mannequin.
there was the bandage guy. There was the mannequin that had literally had the Invisible Man costume on.
Yeah.
I like that part a lot.
Right?
That was
I
fun.
thought that was cool too. Yeah, I liked it.
And I think the color palette was meant to evoke a sense of sepia and black and white.
I wanted to bring up taste in this movie. This answers pretty much every one of my tastes in movies besides auteurship. I really like dark movies. I really like dark material. I really like psychological thrillers, like my favorite genre. The cinematography was slow and unnerving. I really like that stuff. Even the story was all right, and the theme was pretty cool too. I like the victim stuff. Unsane is another movie that does a lot of the same theming, except I feel like it's way better. But what I was going to say was, while watching the movie, there was one thought that kept creeping up, and it was every time that we see a new formation of, oh, this is definitely happening, this is definite truth that the guy is invisible, and people just don't believe her. Every time that happened, I wanted to keep thinking, actually, maybe she is insane, and that is just another product of her imagination. And I kept wanting to do that because the movie wasn't...
Because it would have made it a more interesting movie.
Yeah, it wasn't going as high as I wanted it to. I was just like, okay, now blow it up. There's this one scene in a different movie. I can't remember exactly what it was. Oh, it was it was Overlord. Taylor was talking about how Overlord did not have enough gore. It needed way more gore. And it's just like, the movie itself wouldn't have changed that much, but it would have had much more visceral impact. This movie had another layer of gotcha. Wouldn't have changed that much, but it would have been a way more visceral impact, at least on my mind. And that's where my taste came in.
I feel like I got quite a bit of gotcha.
See, I like more. That's why I like
I
Undone
still
so
think
much.
if the filmmakers would have done that, it would have somehow been saying, it would have somehow been saying that. It would have been somehow saying, like, we don't know if she's a victim or not, when they were very much trying to say that she is a victim.
Yeah, so you're saying that they had a specific message that they wanted to carry here, and it just...
I think that including what you just talked about would have kind of killed the message.
It definitely would have changed the message completely. It would have made it more interesting to me, though.
You know
This
how
movie,
they
to make this movie good, just needed to be a different movie.
that's why I'm saying, yeah, that's why I'm saying taste came into it. But Unsane, dude, is a great example of a pure psychological horror, or not horror, thriller that says the same message. You know, she's a victim. Nobody believes her. And
Also, Candyman.
I haven't seen that.
Wait, the new one?
Oh my God! Really, guys?
Wait, the one that just came out? The new one?
No, the original one from like 1990 or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Blumhouse is doing a remake on that too.
Of Candyman, yeah.
With Jordan Peele.
Candyman is more like, it is also like for maybe 2/3 of the movie. Long story. Basically, it's about these two researchers at a university, and they're investigating an urban legend at projects, government housing in Chicago, Southside Chicago, and or maybe it's Detroit. I don't remember. But basically, there's a mythical figure called Candyman, and the researchers, the two main characters, don't believe that he's a real thing for like 2/3 of the movie. And then, of course, when he shows up, nobody believes them. But yeah, it has a lot of similarities to this movie, I would say, just because of that. Very good movie. I would say watch it before the remake comes out.
I'll check it out for sure.
I'm not checking out the remake.
It's more like a metaphor.
Yeah, we're probably not going to see the remake. Jordan Peele is losing our confidence.
It's more like there's a lot of like racial allegories in it.
That's interesting.
When you mention psychological thriller, that's what clicked it in my mind right now of my problem. I've been trying to say it in more concise ways. It's that in a good psychological thriller, the person playing the psychological games is not just playing it on the main character, but on the audience as well.
Yeah.
And in this movie, I felt like I was watching one character play psychological games on another character,
Yeah.
and I was just on the outside watching it happen. I knew exactly what was happening, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if I had identified with that character to enough of a certain extent, I would have felt like it was happening to me. Or maybe if you told the story in a different way, you could have been, I could have been manipulated the way she was being manipulated. And I just didn't feel like it crossed that bridge.
That's where I feel like other movies like Undone's not a movie, but and Unsane have do that. I think they tap into the empathic bridge with the audience, and they say what's happening to this person is happening to you, and you don't know what's going on. And yeah, I definitely felt like what Kenny said, where I was like looking in at a fishbowl, and I'm like, oh, neat.
Yeah.
So Kenny and Dee, did you both have pretty low expectations going in?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting, because I was going to say that I was wondering if I feel pretty good about it because I went in expecting it to be pretty bad.
Maybe you had a lower
I didn't have
expectation.
very many
It
expectations.
was better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, my that's terrible meter didn't go off very often.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was like, oh wow,
like
all
the media that I've watched leading up to this
I just because we've been watching
probably-
some good movies.
probably put it in an unfair position as well.
Yeah.
I mean, our last episode was Mandy. Did you see Mandy, Cameron?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Dude, that
That
movie's
movie
an
is
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Watch it. That movie's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
that is a good movie.
I'll watch it.
Watching this movie after Mandy is the equivalent of like children's finger painting and who paints stuff.
Well, see, this
Wow.
is
Da Vinci. I'm not good at metaphors.
Kenny, you said that Invisible Man was supposed to be an entrant to the Dark Universe.
Yes, but
it's
they
not
had
that
a
way, though.
but they had a
It's not
very different vision back
Yeah.
then. They were
It's a
going to
different
go
kind
with
of
the
movie now.
classic Invisible Man story,
Oh, okay.
which had the Invisible Man himself as the main character.
Gotcha.
In the original movies, the Invisible Man himself is the perspective that you follow, and they had Johnny Depp of all people cast in a leading role
Interesting.
as the Invisible Man. Originally, was going to be a very big film.
That's ironic because in real life he was a domestic abuse victim. So
Yep,
Ironic.
the irony.
Did the other thing that sold me on the Invisible Man were the opening titles, the
I hated
wave
the
crashing
opening
and the waters on
You-
the titles.
Are you
loved
serious? I thought I was so stupid.
That. I thought it was great, dude. I loved
Wow.
it.
I thought
was
it was
like, this is
stupid
awesome.
because I felt like it was really on the nose. Like it was just like
So, dude, okay,
whole movie was that
I
way.
hated it
I liked
because the wave that they used for the title reveal, they obviously had it timed out. It wasn't.
It was very specific.
Yeah, it wasn't natural. It wasn't natural waves. So every time that it came on screen,
They did it practically.
Well, no, yeah, no. They did use practical effects, though. Is what I mean. They used at least the water in the background. I don't know if the same wave was the same practical effect or not, but the wave that came to crash on the rocks, they timed it differently from the rhythm that the sea was going at. So it was just very apparent to me that there was a person who was using some sort of nuke or After Effects compositing program that they're like, okay,
They did do that.
now.
They did. Use
I
it.
Really?
just hated. I hated that it was.
It felt artificial to me, is what I mean.
So-
It was.
I didn't like it.
I felt like it wasn't. It was organic. those credits are crystalline.
The idea though is that you're trying to make something look as if it's real. You don't want to bring CG in and look as if it's CG.
Well, turn your
right?
brain
I
off.
always,
That's
I
a
always
whole-
see CG, dude.
that's a
Always
whole
CG.
like. That's
I always
like
see the fakeness.
The subject
Not
of
all the time.
I do. I always spot
dissertation.
CG.
That's like a dissertation. Is like, should you think that it's real or should you be aware of the technique?
Dude.
It's like, do you
Yeah,
want
but it's-
formalism or realism?
But it's different depending on the kind of effect that you're trying to do. Like if you have what was the Indiana Jones theme that we just saw? The Indiana Jones 4.
Crystal Skull.
Yeah, where they had the ants on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those are not supposed to look cartoonish, right? They're supposed to look like a real thread, like they're supposed to exist. So you try your hardest in compositing to try to make it look real. Titles aren't supposed to look real, obviously, but they're using a water effect, dripping off of the titles to make it look as if it's real.
But it was cool.
Therefore,
It wasn't cool though.
Yeah, it was.
no, I'm
It was
just saying
awesome.
that's why I.
But
didn't.
it wasn't.
I'm no opinion on the titles. I'm completely fine with the titles.
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you.
Okay, here's my titles issue because we're going to spend 30 minutes on this.
The titles are the most interesting thing to talk about.
My issue was that this movie committed the marketing behind this movie, committed the sin that I've seen so many times with Blumhouse, which is they show the whole movie in the trailer.
I hated that too.
The whole movie is in the trailer for this movie.
I watched the trailer a few times before I saw the movie, and I didn't feel like it spoiled anything.
You're wrong about that.
And I watched it after the movie, and it felt like it was maybe the first half. I didn't feel like it showed the whole movie.
It showed things I wish I hadn't known going
That's
in.
It showed me a lot that I wish I hadn't seen. But in at least one of the trailers, there is a clip that wasn't in the movie where she ignites some indoor sprinklers. Do you remember this? And the water goes on the Invisible Man, and you can see him because he's wet. This was in one of the first trailers. And it wasn't in the movie. And so, but anyway, I came into this going like, I've already seen so much in the trailer, I'm bugged. And the first thing it did was these credits that showed up because water was on them. And I'm like, that's going to be a big thing in the movie, and they're trying to foreshadow, and that's stupid. And then
so the movie was gaslighting you.
Yeah, because in the movie, he walks around in the rain, and you still couldn't see him. They still couldn't. He was still invisible. So the water thing was it was a ruse.
It gave you different context for the movie. We talked about. It was funny. Cameron, Taylor, Kenny, and I, when we went to go see Star Wars, this last one, Episode 9.
Star Wars Hour.
We came out of the theater, and we were all like, okay, what did we think? And I was like, it was better than I thought. And they both were like, what? And we all had drastically different contexts, and we talked about it later, but it's weird that you can go into a movie like this and have such different opinions depending on what your context is, and then build upon it. Because like Kenny, you always have context, even with the trailers. The trailers can color your judgment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Movies are subjective.
What?
Dude, speaking of unnecessary CG, or just stupid CG, this is totally off topic, but hilarious. Disney Plus, has this huge catalog of movies they didn't make, including Splash.
Daryl Hannah, I mean.
Yes, did you see this?
Yeah.
Dude, so the movie Splash with Tom Hanks, Daryl Hannah turns into a mermaid. There are several scenes of her walking on the beach where her butt is exposed. And so Disney went in and lengthened her hair so that it covered her butt. But when she moves, it looks like she has hair glued to her butt. It looks
like she has a sticker. Yes.
Wow.
Like a hair sticker on her butt.
What?
And it's the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing I've seen since the quarantine began. Highly recommend.
Wow.
Watch that. Just that scene.
Splash?
Yeah.
I will look that up.
Watch the Disney Plus version of Splash so you can watch the...
So did they edit the original film? Is that what they did?
Yeah.
Is that a remake?
No, same film. Yeah, but they didn't want her exposed butt on Disney Plus
because that's inappropriate.
Yeah,
we can't have children knowing that people have bodies.
I actually wish you hadn't said that, Cameron. Can we take that off the show?
Yeah, we'll censor
This is a family show. Could you control yourself, man? Control yourself.
I didn't know.
My gosh.
Okay. Hot take. Ready? Okay. The Invisible Man is a big upgrade on Upgrade.
No, BS. Upgrade was way better than Invisible Man.
Yeah,
way better.
Nope, wrong.
I could watch Upgrade again. I can't watch Invisible Man again.
I can't watch either again.
For upgrade,
I would rather be in that club.
For upgrade, they taped an iPhone to the guy's chest, and they had the camera on a circular skeleton, basically. So whenever the iPhone would tilt, the camera would go, and it was like parented to the iPhone that was on the actor's chest. That's why you get all those crazy things that
Practical
wasn't done in
snoring.
post-production.
I like that. That's pretty cool. I still
Fun
don't
fact.
like the movie very much.
What kind of pizza was the Invisible Man?
I got this.
Go for it, D.
I got this. It's the number one on a pizza menu.
That's not what.
It's the number one. I'll take a number one, please.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best-selling one.
No, it's when they have a menu and there's options that are numbered.
You go to a
I
pizza
know.
restaurant.
Usually,
What is
it's
the
best-selling one, right?
Oh,
Usually, number
hold on.
one is
The
all
iconic.
Hold on.
All right, D, go ahead. Go.
We go to a pizza place, right? You see all the pizzas listed, and the most popular one is the number one. It's the most generic. It's not necessarily the most sought after, but it's the most popular choice. Number one. That's what this movie is.
Very basic.
Very basic.
What is it? Just a cheese pizza?
Pepperoni
Pizza
pizza.
at an average joint?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Okay.
I'd like to, I'd like them to put some other stuff on it, but it's all right. It's pretty good.
Oh, mhm. Fair enough.
Hmm.
I don't have one yet.
Oh, man.
I'm still thinking.
All right, I'll go.
Thank you.
Fine.
I want to hear Cameron's.
You want to hear mine?
Oh, you're coming up. You have to give a
Okay.
pizza rating. So
All right.
I'll go first. So for me, I'd say kind of like yours. You walk into this pizza joint. It's got a fine, reputation, and you even have your favorites, already. But someone has tipped you off and said like, hey, number 17 is like amazing. No one knows about it because it's not even on the menu. You can't see it. Right.
Jack in the Box.
And you're like, okay, yeah, I'll take that number 17, the old Invisible Man pizza, because someone told me it was great, and you decide you're not going to have it ever again because it wasn't that good.
Ooh.
And I'd say
Ever
it's
again.
because the sauce has no flavor.
Mm.
It says no flavor.
Yeah, it's like there's cheese and there's bread, but if you don't have a good sauce in between those two things, it's just not a pizza.
That's too bad.
That's fair. That's fair.
fair.
I think I would agree that without those things, you wouldn't have a pizza.
Thank you, Taylor.
Um,
I can always rely on you. But Cameron's up. Cameron.
Okay, so I've been staying at home obviously because of the quarantine.
That's weird. I've been everywhere.
You're a patriot. Good job.
Too soon.
But
Good for
I've gone
you.
out to get groceries a couple times.
What?
And I went the other day, and there was like a big frozen pizza section. And I went to the frozen pizza section, and the one on top, I had to take a picture of it because I just couldn't believe it was a pizza that was a peach, honey, and vinaigrette pizza.
Are you saying that's what this movie was?
No, I just thought it was related, and it was funny.
Okay.
Say this
Speaking of pizzas.
pizzas. This is probably for me like a Hawaiian pizza, where I'm like, if I was ordering the pizza, if I was ordering the pizza, I wouldn't order that pizza. But that pizza arrived, and I like it. So.
If it was there,
I agree. It's a Hawaiian pizza.
Oh, but see, context. D hates on pizza.
Yeah.
He won't even let us say that in the episode. If you say on pizza, he will go back and remove you saying.
Yeah.
I already
just
have.
delete it.
He bleeps it out.
Okay.
Cameron's like,
All right.
cool.
This Cameron, you actually gave me the perfect idea for my pizza rating for this movie, and that would be that the Invisible Man is a Red Baron brand thin crust cheese pizza, frozen cheese pizza you get at the grocery store.
Is it cooked?
is it when I eat it? Do I keep it frozen or do I go through the process of cooking it? Yeah, no, it is.
Are you one of those people who
cooked.
prefers to eat pizza frozen?
no,
it's an important differentiator because we have reviewed a movie that way, and this movie is
frozen.
better than Death Wish.
Oh yeah,
Death Wish with Bruce Willis. We actually
Uncooked.
called an uncooked frozen pizza, which was a bad thing. Yeah.
And so this is a cooked frozen pizza, and it is. I mean, it's just frozen pizza, frozen cheese pizza. I liked it.
And if you go in thinking it's going to be the worst pizza that you've ever had, you'll probably like it pretty good.
Yeah, you might actually. It's a little bit better than that. Yeah. But I mean, it's not like a restaurant pizza or anything. Like, I go to any restaurant or even any like delivery is better for the most part.
Yeah. I was almost like, oh, this is going to be the worst pizza I ever had. And then I bit it, and then I'm like, well, I can swallow it. I can still swallow it, but I'm not going to eat anymore. Spitting it out, that's the equivalent of just not finishing the movie.
Yeah, that's if we walk out on a movie or something.
Yeah.
Then we spit it out.
I can't imagine a reality where I walk out on a movie anymore. Like,
yeah.
We almost did. Oh, man, I totally forgot. The cinematography. Can I talk about that real quick? Everyone good?
No, you can't.
Yeah, no. Yes,
your
you
time.
can. Don't let him tell you what to do.
Well, he told me what to do already.
Cameron, this is my show.
This is the Talkies by Kenny. Cinematography in here.
This is Cameron's show.
Oh, it's Cameron's show now.
Is now.
Oh God, I can't handle the responsibility.
The shots that they had of the Invisible Man when they were doing like the shots down the hallway and stuff like that, I thought that was so cool. If it wasn't gimmicky, it was gimmicky because they were doing it to track the Invisible Man. I thought what they were doing at first was they were just evoking just an emotion. I was just like, well, what are we looking at? And then they even had a shot kind of like is it in Taxi Driver, where they have a shot on what's his name? I forgot the dude's name. And then they dolly away from him just to look down the hallway, just to give the viewer an unnerving feeling of, oh, what's happening, right? It's a brilliant shot that they have there. And in this movie, they did it for a purpose because you're looking at an invisible man. And it made me think of Slender Man.
Oh.
So
that sounds like an uncooked pizza if I've ever heard one.
Slender Man was an uncooked pizza, yeah.
That was a bad movie.
Slender Man had these shots, two of them, that were also very gimmicky, but it only appeared gimmicky when you saw it a second time. The first time was pretty dope. It was where one of the victims was looking at her phone, and she was seeing the image of what the Slender Man was seeing through his eyes. And it was really, really cool because he would just float
through the doors. Yeah,
and through walls and stuff. And you're just like, as you're watching the phone, you understand where he is in relationship to her. And so the tension is growing, but it just gives you this unnerving feeling because you don't really know if it's his view or not. You just know that something's coming to get her. But then they did it again, and you're like, oh, okay, this is a thing. You're not trying to evoke an emotion. It's just, this is what we're literally looking at. We're looking at his eyes. That's what we're seeing.
Yeah, I felt the cinematography stayed really on the nose in the film, and it bugged me. I was like, yeah, I get it. Invisible Man, there he is.
Right.
He's watching. Here he comes. I felt like it would have been more effective if we had some of those uncanny things happening, but it was still shot in a more traditional way.
Just regularly, yeah.
Because then you would feel like it's intruding upon your normal worldview. I mean, it felt kind of in my face.
Yeah. Yes.
Get in my face. I liked it.
Get in my face.
I like that. There were some moments that actually creeped me out quite a bit where there was like, because I think the idea of having an invisible man who's for real and is actually invisible and you don't know if he's actually there is anything could happen. Anything could happen at any time. He could just appear.
Genuinely creepy, I think.
Yeah, there were some scenes where I was actually pretty surprised at how unnerved I got. I was like, I'm actually feeling this.
I'm jealous
right now,
of you. I am jealous of you.
I was more unnerved with Mandy.
I didn't get unnerved at all.
I didn't get unnerved with Mandy. I was just orgasming.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah, it was intense. It was a sustained orgasm.
Yeah, full body. It was
Yeah.
really intense.
Mhm. Yeah, I got that too, twice.
Good. Yeah, nice.
Takes
Okay.
practice.
I think that's about it.
I just want to point out this movie had a budget of $7 million and it made $126 million at the box office.
That's Blumhouse for you.
That's
what
what
they do.
Blumhouse does.
That's what they do. Like 1 out of every 10 movies.
Well, except the other 9, they'll spend $5 million and make 30.
Still, yeah.
Right. So it's
almost
like
always
all
profit.
day, every day. You know, they're just a cash machine.
Hey, Jason Blum, if you wanna fund my next movie, I'm open. You know,
He's not a viewer here, Cameron. I'm sorry.
We actually banned him.
Damn.
Yeah.
Him
He's
and Bong Joon-ho.
he's a troll. He's a troll.
Yeah.
Hate that guy.
There goes my shot.
Yeah. Sorry, Cameron. We ruined it for you.
We did.
And honestly, and this, hold on.
He's gonna be
It's
invisible.
the Invisible Man.
And where am I? Why aren't I
no.
coming back?
Oh,
Whoa.
What happened?
He's gone.
Oh man.
Well,
Oh, there we
There
go.
you
What
go.
the?
Oh wow.
Now you're squished.
That's weird. What happened? Oh well, good thing it's the end of the show. But I was going to say that it's a sign of my respect for you as an artist, Cameron, when I say that Jason Blum wouldn't be interested in most of your ideas.
That does come out of respect.
Yeah.
He's not interested in auteurship.
No. Okay. Hey, Cameron, thanks for joining us today. That was fun.
thanks
That was
for
fun.
having me. I mean, not like I was gonna go out and do anything today, so you know.
Didn't really. I guess. I mean, it's fine if I was here. I suppose didn't have anything better
Fuck
to do. So
All right, yeah, this is fun. Loved all the pizza metaphors. You know, talking about films. You guys should watch Candyman before the remake comes out.
Yeah.
Great movie,
Maybe we'll do an episode on it.
for sure.
we should watch both for Candyman.
Kenny's out.
You're out of focus, Kenny.
What? No, I'm not. I'm
I'll
good.
be on your guys' Candyman episode. All right.
Kenny, yeah, I'm not liking this. Ooh, I don't
Thanks.
like that either.
There we
That's
go.
unnerving.
Now I'm in focus. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching the Talkies. Bye.
You sound weird.
Oh, I wasn't in front of my microphone.